Hello, welcome. This is Wendy with wendysinkspot.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's project is this cute little post-it note holder. So we're going to make one for this pack of post-it notes. And it's a quick, easy project, and it's great for gift giving, party favors, or just any occasion. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me move these out of the way. We're going to make this using scraps today. So we're going to use a scrap of soft succulent cardstock. We're going to be using this pattern from the Pansy Petals pack, designer series paper. And so the first thing we want to do is cut our cardstock. So let me get my trimmer out here. So we want our cardstock to be 3.5 by 7.5. So let's cut it 3.5 first. That seems to be a little off. Let's do it this way. 3.5. There we go. Perfect. We'll set that scrap aside. And then we're going to cut it at 7.5. So we're just going to trim off that inch at the end, and that is our base for our post-it note holder. Now we're going to score it on the long edge. And our first score is going to go at 3.5. So let's make sure we're going to score it and we're not going to cut it. We're at 3.5. Okay. I'm actually going to flip it over the other long side and do it again at 3.5. There we go. And there we are. That's our card base. Now the next piece that we need to cut is going to be our designer series paper piece. And this is going to be 3 inches by 3 inches. And we want to make sure that the pattern is laying the right way. So if you have a pattern that has a direction to it, you want to make sure, well, I guess it doesn't really apply. It's going to be 3 by 3. Let's move this out of the way. I'll cut this at 3. There we go. And now we need a piece of basic white. Oops. I did not get the cardstock out. Sorry about that. Totally forgot to get the white cardstock out. All right, so our basic white piece is going to be 3.25 by 3.25. So let's cut the 3.25. There we go. So they're gonna lay just like this on top of our base. Perfect. Okay. And that is all the cutting that we are going to be doing. Let me put that away. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is our label. So I used the Tasteful Label dies, and I love these because they're great for so many different projects, but you can also layer them, which is what I did here. So we're going to take this piece and we're going to layer it on top of this piece. So let's do those really quick. And we're going to get my little Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay. So let's move this out of the way. We're going to be using some scraps. So So this is a scrap of the soft succulent. You're going to be cutting that piece. So let's make our little sandwich. Right. Oh goodness, sliding all over the place. Okay, so let's get that cut. Probably should turn it so you can see it. That did not cut all the way through. We are going to need to trim that up a bit. So let me grab some paper snips here. We're just going to trim that extra little piece that did not want to come off. Perfect. There we are. There's that one. And then the next thing we're going to cut is our basic white piece. Let me get my scrap of that out. Just going to lay that on there. Put our top layer on, and then we'll run it through. Okay. Right. So there's our label. Move this out of the way. Put these labels back. Get that out of the way. Now we're ready to, we're going to stamp this piece. And to do the sentiment, I used this sentiment from the Pansy Patch. So get that out. I'm just going to lay that down. There we go. All right, so we just want to ink up a little hello. We're not going to put the from me to you, or so get my ink pad up here. We're just going to ink up that part of the saying. Make sure we get that O. All right, so let's see if we can center this and get it straight. Perfect. A little smudge, but that's okay. Excellent. So that is done. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp on our soft succulent label. I am actually going to use this scrap and put it underneath so that we don't get any ink on our pad here. So the flowers that we're going to use are going to be these tiny little flowers from the Sweetest Peach stamp set. So let's get those out. Just lay those down. There we go. And what we want to make sure is that we're getting the outside edges. We don't necessarily have to get the middle stamped, but we want to stamp these really quick. And they don't, there we go. So twist them around a little bit. this side. Okay, I think that's good. Let's close up our ink pad. And there's our label. This is going to layer right on top, and you won't even see that little mistake that I made. I think that'll work out great. Now we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. This little part of the label here, so we're going to just put a couple on. And then we're going to use dimensionals on the back of this piece as well. So let me go ahead and put those on. I love dimensionals. I would be lost without them. I love the extra layers that it gives it. So it gives it some dimension, so it's not all flat. So there we go. All right, so those are ready. So now we can put together a Post-it note holder. So let's, all right. So I'm going to use some multi-purpose glue. And actually, we're going to put this one down first. All right, let's see if I can get this straight without getting my head in the camera. There we go. Perfect. And then we'll put some glue on here. We'll add this to the front of our perfect. Let's get rid of this. Fold on our score lines and burnish it. There we go. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my Post-it notes before we put our label on. So I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm actually going to put it on the back of my Post-it note. All right, and we want to make sure that the Post-it note sits right along that crease. Let's see if we can get it remotely even, and then we'll press down. We are almost done. So the next thing we're going to do is put on our labels. So I throw my little dimensional pieces off to the side. I have found these crazy little things in all kinds of places. In my car, in my shoes, in the dog's bed. They just end up everywhere. Tracked in the hallway. You can tell I've been crafting when you find those little dimensional backings all over the house. All right, so let's put our maple on. Let's see if we can get this centered. How does that look? That needs to come down just a shade, doesn't it? Perfect. All right, and then for our final touch, we're going to use some of the 2021-2023 in color jewels because I love a little bling. So let's see, let's add the Evening Evergreen. We'll do a Pale Papaya. Put that one there. Let's add a Polished Pink because pink is my favorite color. That in there. And then let's just do one more for fun. Okay, right. We'll put those off to the side. So there you have it. Our cute little Post-it note holders. Quick and easy to do. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed our project and you'll come back and see me again. Bye.